From Jack Murphy Stadium in San Diego, California, NBC Sports presents the 1984 World Series between the Detroit Tigers and the San Diego Padres. This was Sunday. Bedlam in this city by the border. San Diego's miracle comeback against the Chicago Cubs that put the Padres into the series against the Detroit Tigers. Hi, I'm Vin Scully. It wasn't always that way. It wasn't always a baseball game played before 58,000 people with lights atop the stadiums, with television cameras and media from all across the country and around the world interested in the outcome of the World Series. No, it was not that way at all. In the beginning, and for any good story, there's always a beginning, you have to go back to horse and buggy days, when there was a game, but it was a small game known to only a few. In fact, you have to go all the way back to 1903.
It was late September, and as the season turned, a nation's thoughts turned to baseball.
Old feud continues.
The years old, running with dynamite.
Them bean eaters from Boston wouldn't stand a chance against our champs anyway.
Not a prayer, Barney.
Don't write the news before it's made, Mr. Dreyfus, sir.
Don't think they really could beat us, do you?
Nah.
This is your
You really think you're going to beat the national champions?
We're only 3 years old. They've been around for a quarter century. I still think our boys can beat them.
And, of course, it could be marvelous for both teams, where the tickets would be set at 50 cents, and the visiting club could be given a quarter on every ticket sold.
Can't we stop all this constant baseball talk?
This isn't baseball talk, my dear. This is money talk.
Come on, find me another one.
Hey, dig it. You guys are burning them Boston bums, right?
I don't know. I hear that Cy Young fella is about the best pitcher there is.
Stop. Hold on. Here you might be starting.
Yep.
Most important thing is to beat those guys. We'll get them, Si.
What are you going to call these games anyway?
Why, it's the national championship, of course.
Excuse me, Mr. Dreyfus, it's more than that. This series of games will determine the best baseball team in the world.
Come on, this guy's no battle. Let's go, come on.
I just gotta see this. Yeah? Come on, get it over the plate.
It took 8 games, but the upstart Boston Puritans beat the established Pittsburgh Pirates in 1903, and the World Series was born. For 81 years, the series has determined where the championship flag will fly. And now, this American tradition continues.
Barney Dreyfus, the owner of the Pittsburgh Pirates, Cy Young, a name who has tumbled down the corridors of time all the way to the present, to names like Alan Trammell and Jack Morris, and names like Mark Thurman and Goose Gossage. Right now, here's Bob Costas.
All right, Vin, in the twilight of Jack Murphy Stadium, the Padres will go with left-hander Mark Thurman, 14-8 for the year, the loser of Game 2 in the playoffs against the Cubs. The Tigers counter with right-hander Jack Morris, 19-11 for the season, the Game 1 winner in the playoffs at Kansas City. The Padres, all told, will use 4 starters. The Tigers will stick with a 3-man rotation, Morris, Petrie, and Wilcox. Now, Detroit won 104 games this year, but even more impressively, in games started by their big 3, they were 74-31.
And the series will abound with contrast. The Padres have never been in a World Series, and they had to fight back in the playoffs. The Tigers, of course, are rich in World Series tradition, having first appeared in the Fall Classic in 1907. They ran away with their division and swept Kansas City in the playoffs. Second baseman Lou Whitaker leads it off against the Padres' Mark Thurman. Vin Scully and Joe Garagiola call it.
High drive into left center field. Bobby Brown going back. It's over his head. He's on the track, and it's going to bounce against the wall. Whitaker into second base, standing with a long double. Boy, they go after you right away.
Over his head, 2-base hit, and these Tigers are, well, they're doing what they did to get here.
Sparky was saying Whitaker and Trammell are exceptional hitters. Well, Whitaker's doubled, and now he has Trammell. Lined into left field. That's a base hit. Whitaker is to third, and Graham is sending him in to throw to the plate. He's in, and it is 1-0 Detroit. Holding at first is Trammell, and the Tigers have done it again. They scored in the first inning.
If we look at the replay, line drive, left field. Graham doesn't hesitate. Whitaker, better than average speed. Martinez's throw cut off, no chance in the world.
Kirk Gibson was due up next, and it looked like a big first inning was in the offing, but then Thurman helped himself out.
And there goes the runner, the throw to Garvey. Garvey down to Templeton to get him.
So the Tigers settle for 1 run in the first, and Sparky Anderson pins his hopes on his top right-hander, Jack Morris. The Tigers are a heavy favorite in the series, but after their victory over the Cubs, anything seems possible for the Padres. And sure enough, when Steve Garvey came to bat in the bottom of the first, the magic was still working.
1-0 the count to Garvey. 2 down in the first inning. Tigers 1, Padres nothing. Fastball line to right. That's a base hit.
Next up, the veteran third baseman Greg Nettles, and like Garvey, he's no stranger to World Series competition.
Line into left center. That's a base hit. Herndon to pick it up. Garvey held at second. That'll bring up Terry Kennedy.
Kennedy batted .240 with 14 home runs during the regular season.
Line drive down the right field line and going into the bullpen. Garvey will score. Here comes Nettles to the plate, and he scores. Going to third is Kennedy. 2-1 San Diego.
Right here in the bottom of the first inning of the first game, it appeared as if the Padres' playoff momentum might extend right on through the World Series. San Diego didn't score again in the first inning, but they continued to play sparkling baseball. We move ahead to the top half of the second. Darrell Evans, the batter for Detroit.
Hit to the right of Wiggins, smothers it, gets up and got him.
After 2, the Padres led it 2-1. Then in the third, the San Diego crowd began to get on Morris, and he looked a little shaky when he faced Alan Wiggins to open the inning.
Bouncer up the middle. Behind the bag is Trammell to knock it down. Base hit.
Next up was Tony Gwynn, who led the major leagues in hitting in 1984.
Ball 4. So they're going wild because they have Garvey, Nettles, and Kennedy coming up. All right, 2 on, nobody out, and Garvey, who's single to right in the first inning, coming up. Would you have a hot hitter like Garvey sacrifice knowing that he's hit into 25 double plays?
If I'm managing, yes.
All right, let's see. And the runners go on a bouncer to the right side. They get a tag for 1, and they get the double play.
And even with starting the runners, they were able to get it. And, of course, that's the inning record. Whitaker does a good job. Gwynn goes out of the baseline. He didn't have to make the tag, and you can almost see Whitaker saying, hey, nice call, huh?
Williams gambled that Garvey, the MVP of the playoffs, would come through. When Nettles followed with a walk, the double play loomed even larger. The Padres had runners at first and third, but now with 2 outs. Morris still faced danger, though. Terry Kennedy was the batter, and he had touched Jack for a double back in the first.
Wiggins at third, Nettles at first. They're not holding him. 2 out. 2-2. And that sliced to left center, but Lemon got a jump. He's there to handle it.
So Morris survived without giving up a run. Neither team scored in the fourth, and the Tigers came to bat in the fifth, trailing 2-1. There were 2 out when Lance Parrish stepped in.
Shot inside third and down the line. Nettles never had a chance. The ball wedging underneath the bunting. And so into second base with the ball dead goes Parrish with a ground rule double.
Watch Parrish. He really gets around on that ball, opens up, and it's by Nettles before he knows what hit him.
Here's Larry Herndon. He had an infield single, hit into a force play at third. 3-1 to Herndon, trying to pick up Parrish and get the Tigers even. Drive to right field. Gwynn going back to the track at the wall. Gone. And there's the home run by Larry Herndon to put the Tigers in front 3-2. And I guess Thurman, the old story, he pitched to one more batter too many.
3 balls and 1 strike to count, and that's the 2-0. The 2 balls and 1 strike, 3-1. Those are the cripple shooting counts, and that's the one that gets you in trouble. You can look for a pitch and get your whack, and that's what Herndon did.
Boy, he got those arms out there. He really snapped after it. So Herndon, who had 20 home runs last year and only 7 this year, has come up with a big one tonight.
And Herndon's blast knocked Thurman from the mound. He was replaced by Andy Hawkins. Hawkins got the Padres out of the 5th, and then to start the 6th inning, Chet Lemon, the fleet Tiger center fielder, led it off. Lemon delivered a single to left. The ball cut off by Carmelo Martinez before it could reach the wall. Now Sparky Anderson, with a 3-2 lead, looked to put the Padres away. As Lemon took a big lead off first, Darrell Evans settled into the batter's box.
And that's hit and backhanded by Garvey, and he goes to the bag.
Now as the Padres came to bat in the bottom of the 6th, they were still trailing 3-2 as Nettles led off.
Change, and it's hit off the end of the bat, and it's a base hit to center. So Morris makes a great pitch. Nettles is way out in front of it and gets a hit.
Terry Kennedy was next.
Nettles at first. The tying run, it's 3-2 Detroit, bottom of the 6th. And it's lined into center, base hit. Nettles to second, and just did get there as Lemon almost had a force play.
Bobby Brown followed and twice failed to sacrifice. With 2 strikes, he tried to hit away.
Got him. Perfect fastball about at the knees on the outside part. Brown never did get a good swing. 3-2 Detroit. 1 out in the 6th inning. Salazar at second, Kennedy at first. Martinez at the plate. Got him.
And look at the concentration. It's a split-fingered fastball. You can see the grip. Great. Look at the tumble effect.
And so it's Gary Templeton, who wears number 1 on his back. And he's on the spot right now. So Jack Morris striking out Brown, and Martinez is 1 pitch away from striking out the side. And he strikes him out away.
With that rally having been fouled up, the Padres still trailed 3-2 as Kurt Bavacqua led off the last half of the 7th.
2-2. Fastball is hit inside first and down the line. Bavacqua is on his way for 2. Gibson chasing. They're waving Bavacqua to third. The relay to Whitaker. Whitaker to Castillo. They got him.
He stumbled. He stumbled as he rounded second base. It may be that he hasn't been playing, but he stumbled as he rounded second base. And what a play that was. Right there. That's where he lost it. And that's where he lost the play. Virgil says get down, but basic baseball, hitting the relay man, made the play.
Here's the play, that throw by Whitaker.
Hitting the cutoff man. And that made it. Basic baseball.
That was the last real chance Dick Williams and his Padres had in Game 1. Morris was in trouble several times, but he was still there at the finish.
Little ground ball to first. This ought to do it. Bergman to the bag, and the lights go out on Game 1 in San Diego. Jack Morris goes all the way. Retires the last 6 in a row. He was threatened. The Padres had him on the ropes, and he had the ability to get off the ropes, and they couldn't put him away.
And the Game 1 final, the Tigers 3, the Padres 2. Game 2 at Jack Murphy Stadium, and a perfect night for baseball in San Diego, but hardly a perfect night for Padres starter Ed Whitson. Lou Whitaker stepped in to lead off the top of the 1st.
And here we go in Game 2. Lined into left center field, and Whitaker's at it again. The ball cut off by Martinez, who gets it back in to Alan Wiggins. So Lou Whitaker singles, and that's the keynote for Detroit. They roar early. They have scored in the 1st inning 3 of the 4 postseason games.
Next batter, Alan Trammell.
So Whitaker taking his lead, held on by Garvey. Trammell 2 for 5 last night. He singled home Whitaker. He also stole a base. Whitaker goes, hit and run base hit to left field, and Whitaker keeps on going to third. The throw is not in time. Trammell holding at first, and the Tigers are in business. So first and third, nobody out. And that's hammered to right center field. That's a base hit. On his way to third is Trammell, a long single by Gibson, and for the 4th time in 5 postseason games, the Tigers have taken a bite out of the opponent.
And you don't have to be a genius to realize that every guy's walked up there and jumped on the first pitch.
So cleanup man Lance Parrish let the first pitch go by.
There goes Gibson, off-speed pitch. He stole it without a play. Speed, a fly ball down the left field line, curling foul. Both runners tag. In the bullpen, it's caught by Martinez, and both men move up and make it. So Trammell in, Gibson to third, and then it is 2-0 Detroit.
And now it's Darrell Evans' turn.
Change, a little looper. Templeton going out and can't get it. In comes Gibson, and before the chairs are warm, it's 3-0 Detroit.
As Dick Williams considered when to pull Whitson, Johnny Grubb stepped in.
There goes Evans, and a hit-and-run ground ball in the hole, and it's going to go into left field. So Evans will go to third, and the hit parade continues. So Evans was going, and Grubb found a hole.
That was all Williams needed to see. He yanked Whitson, and in came Andy Hawkins, who had worked in Game 1, giving up just 1 hit in 2 2/3 innings. As for Whitson, he left trailing 3-0 after throwing just 11 pitches. A 14-game winner during the regular season, and now this. Hawkins shut the door on the Tigers, and Dan Petrie took a 3-0 lead to the mound in the last of the first. Alan Wiggins led off.
Drag bunt by the mound, and Wiggins beats it out.
Tony Gwynn was next.
He goes, and that's ball 4. So that means Steve Garvey is the tying run in the first inning. And he bunts. And Petrie has to go to first. So the Padres are in business. Greg Nettles coming up.
At 40, Nettles is still a long ball threat, but he got under this one.
High fly ball into shallow left. Coming up is Rupert Jones, tagging his Wiggins, and on the throw to the plate, going to third goes Gwynn.
Good speed. A good throw. Took a little bit of time getting rid of it. Watch the play at the plate. Parrish thinks he has him blocked, but right there goes his foot.
The Padres settled for 1 in the first, but still hope had been reborn among the fans at Jack Murphy Stadium. Andy Hawkins shut the Tigers down through the 4th.
That takes care of Trammell, and they're trying to build up a little momentum, a little comeback momentum in San Diego.
In the bottom of the 4th, trailing 3-1, the Padres led it off with Kurt Bavacqua, whose stumble on the base paths had been such a pivotal play in Game 1.
There's a base hit into left field.
Now it's shortstop Gary Templeton at the plate for San Diego.
Ground ball into right field. Bavacqua takes a look and keeps on going. Gibson's throw is cut off. If they let it go through, the tying run's in scoring position. So they cut it off.
At the crack of the bat, Bavacqua headed for third, determined not to repeat his Game 1 misadventure.
This time he made sure he didn't let the wheels come flying off, and he goes into a half gainer. He looks like Greg Lougain is here.
Now Bobby Brown comes up.
Off speed, hit slowly to short. Trammell will shovel to Whitaker, and that's all. And scoring is Bavacqua. 3-2 Detroit.
And the San Diego fans sense their team is back in the ball game. Trying to keep it close, 24-year-old Andy Hawkins turns in a marvelous performance on the mound. Hawkins had been in and out all year long, working both as a starter and out of the bullpen. But he pitched shutout ball against Detroit for the second day in a row.
1-2. fastball punched him out. That's 13 in a row. A brilliant performance by Hawkins, who hollers, "Let's go."
Now, with one away in the last half of the fifth, and the score 3-2 Tigers, Greg Nettles is the batter for the Padres.
So he's aboard with one out. And again, the Padres have a tying run aboard. And the batter is Terry Kennedy. 2-1. Fastball, a one-hopper, bad hop. And everybody's safe. Nettles stopping at second.
I mean, it eats him up. If you're looking for a major league bad hop, if it stays down double play, and it took about a 90-calorie bite right out of Whitaker.
2 on, 1 out, designated hitter Kurt Bavacqua at the plate. He hit only .200 with just 1 home run during the regular season.
High fly ball into left field. Back goes Jones, away back. It's gone. The dramatic 3-run home run by Kurt Bavacqua has turned it around, and Sparky knows full well that the Padres are a very tough club.
Fearing that Hawkins might be tired after pitching 2 days in a row, Williams replaces him with Craig Lefferts in the 7th. Lefferts was just as effective as Hawkins.
Got him. Never mind Goose Gossage. Greg Lefferts has struck out 5 of the 9 batters. 2 down, 9th inning. High pop fly. A trio of Padres. It will be Wiggins.
So game 2 was a turnaround. The final, the Padres 5 and the Tigers 3, evening the series at 1 as they head for Detroit.
The Padres were kind enough to allow our cameras and microphones into their dugout. So eavesdrop along with us the sights and sounds of Game 2.
Game 2 ended early for a shell-shocked Ed Whitson, knocked from the mound by 3 Tiger runs in the top of the first. But with 9 turns at bat left, Dick Williams' Padres had only begun to plot and scheme. Bottom of the first, Wiggins aboard, Gwynn draws a walk. First and second, nobody out, and the tying run comes to the plate in the person of Steve Garvey, who's been swinging a hot postseason bat.
Now, maybe Steve can drop a bunt down here. Never can tell what'll happen here.
Now, Garvey's a good bunter, but usually for a hit. He was credited with only 1 sacrifice bunt all season.
They say if you want to lay one down, you go ahead. Yeah. Okay? The skipper. If you want to lay one down, you're not sacrificing, but if you want to lay one down, it's fine.
With third baseman Darrell Evans playing deep, Williams thinks Garvey might be able to beat one out. But Steve's bunt goes to the right side. Pitcher Dan Petrie throws him out. A successful sacrifice with Wiggins moving to third and Gwynn to second. But it's not exactly what Williams had in mind.
That wasn't the type of bunt I wanted. I wanted him to try. I wasn't wanting to sacrifice. I wanted him to try to drop one. He's way back. Yeah.
In the dugout, Garvey is congratulated by teammates and questioned by his skipper.
Steve, were you trying to push it out that way? Yeah. Okay, because he's way back at third, and I...
He's way back at first, and he's slow, so...
There's your slow man, your guy at third. That's all right, good try. We moved 2 up. Let's get these 2 in. We're on our way.
Instead, the Padres settle for 1 on a Greg Nettles sacrifice fly, but in the 4th, they threaten again. Kurt Bavacqua aboard with one of his 3 base hits, and Gary Templeton at the plate facing Tiger right-hander Dan Petrie. Templeton finds the hole on the right side, and Bavacqua heads for third. Unlike Game 1, he makes it this time with a headlong dive, but he comes up hurting a bit, confiding in third base coach Ozzie Virgil that he might have pulled a muscle.
Pulled a muscle. You did? Where? The leg? Your leg? Huh? Huh?
It's all right.
Well, you make sure now.
A little bit.
You sure?
Yeah.
You sure you're all right?
Just don't say anything. If it bothers me, I'll tell you. Don't worry.
Okay.
After all, this is the World Series, and a journeyman like Bavacqua had no intention of leaving the lineup. He scored on a ground out to make it 3-2 Detroit, and then in the 5th, greater glory awaited.
Get it done, Kurt. Right man in the right spot. Out of here. Get out of here. Yeah. All right.
As Dick Williams said, the right man in the right spot. Now the scene shifts to Detroit for Game 3, from the modern architecture of Jack Murphy Stadium to tradition-filled Tiger Stadium. Here, Detroit's fans are expected to pump the Tigers up. But Milt Wilcox runs into some trouble in the top half of the 1st. Leadoff man Alan Wiggins crosses up the Tiger defense, which was drawn in to prevent a bunt.
That's it fair, over third and down the line. Over to get it is Herndon, and he doesn't come up with it. And into second base goes Alan Wiggins. Dick Williams hoping to see his ball club get out in front for the first time.
Wilcox retired the next 2 before walking Greg Nettles. Now it's Terry Kennedy up, 2 on, 2 out, and the Padres have a chance to break in front.
Wiggins and Nettles taking their leads. Off speed, roll down to Whitaker. Nice easy hop, and that's that.
Padres starter Tim Lawler blanked the Tigers in the 1st, and Wilcox did the same to the Padres in the top half of the 2nd. Now bottom half of inning number 2.
Fastball banged into right field. The Lemon gets a base hit against the left-hander, and the batter is Darrell Evans. 1 ball, 1 strike. In the dirt, to the screen. Lemon to second. Kennedy picks it up, and Lemon will hold. 2-1. High drive to center, but Bobby Brown is right there. Lemon tagging. Brown for the catch. Lemon to third, and the throw not in time.
That brings up third baseman Marty Castillo, the number 9 batter in the Tiger lineup.
Sparky Anderson watching Lemon come down the line from third. 1-2. Fastball, high drive, goodbye. Of unlikely heroes. Topping the list is Kurt Bavacqua, and number 2 becomes Marty Castillo.
Lemon was at third. He's watching it, and he sees it's gone.
Apparently shaken by the home run, Lawler proceeds to walk Lou Whitaker.
And Williams now, I think, will dispatch a message down towards the bullpen, although there's no one throwing yet. And here is Alan Trammell. Line drive down the left field line. Whitaker is on his way to third, and the ball doesn't come back to Martinez. Whitaker to the plate. Templeton's throw. It gets away from Kennedy. Holding at second is Trammell, backed up by Lawler.
Was going to make it, but by sliding, he upends Kennedy and the ball gets by him, and it could have been another base for Trammell. It didn't get by far enough because Lawler was backing it up.
The batter is Kirk Gibson, and there's ball 4.
So with Lawler in very hot water, Lance Parrish came to bat with 2 on and a chance to break the game wide open.
3-1 to Parrish. Larry Herndon on deck. 3-0 Detroit in the second inning. Ground ball smothered by Nettles. The bases are loaded. And that's it. Here comes Dick Williams.
And here comes reliever Greg Booker.
Alan Trammell is at third, Gibson at second, and there's Lance Parrish at first with the infield single. 3-0 Tigers trying to tear it wide open. 3-1. Ball 4. And they all move up 90 feet. And Dick Williams watching his ball club get deeper and deeper into trouble.
Now with the score 4-0, Booker faced Barbaro Garbe with the bases still loaded.
Hit to center, Brown. And the Tigers get 4 and lead 3 and chase Lawler. At the end of 2, 4-0 Detroit.
Leading off the third for the Padres, Alan Wiggins.
2 balls and 1 strike. And he lines it to center, sinking for a base hit. So Alan Wiggins is 2 for 2, a double and a single. Tony Gwynn. Gwynn led the league, hitting .351. 1-1. And Wiggins goes, and the ball is hit into right center for a base hit. Wiggins will keep on going, and Gibson wisely throws it into Trammell. And the Padres come battling back. Well, here's Garvey trying to get the Padres back in the game. First and third, nobody out. Fastball hit down to Whitaker. He goes to Trammell to first. Not in time. Not in time, says Rich Garcia. Wiggins scores, and it is 4-1 Detroit.
He had a little bit of trouble getting the ball out of his glove, Whitaker did. Gwynn went down, and there you see it. And Garvey, to me, looked like he beat it.
The Wilcox really fighting his way out of a spot. First and third, nobody out. It gets Garvey on a force, Nettles to foul out, and here's Kennedy. Ground ball to the right side to Whitaker, and that's that. So what looked like it might have been a big inning, the Padres are fortunate to get 1.
The bottom of the third was a San Diego nightmare. Booker got 2 outs, but gave up 2 walks, and now faced Alan Trammell.
And here's Trammell with a 3-0 count. And he walks. 8 walks given up by San Diego pitchers.
Up to that point in the series, the Padres relief pitchers had been close to perfect, but Booker's wildness forced Williams to go to his bullpen for Greg Harris. The first batter Harris faced was Kirk Gibson.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Kennedy can't find it, and everybody moves up 90 feet. The ball hit Gibson, and the bases remain loaded. So the big curve hits Gibson on the, I believe, on the foot. Watch it. Right there. Gibson picks up an RBI, and here is Lance Parrish. Line into left center field, and Bobby Brown has it. So the Tigers wind up with 1 and leave 3 without getting a base hit. It is 5-1 Detroit at the end of 3.
Now, leading off the 4th inning for San Diego is the hot-hitting DH Kurt Bavacqua, whose home run made him the hero of Game 2.
Hard ground ball, base hit for Bavacqua.
Wilcox struck out Carmelo Martinez and then faced Gary Templeton.
Little nubber up along third. Tough play. Barehanded by Castillo. No throw. And wisely made. And you have first and second, 1 out. And Bobby Brown the batter. 2-2 to Brown. Chopper to third. Right at the bag. Knocked down by Castillo. He falls. Scrambles. Got him.
Brown not trying to pull the ball. Almost had himself a base hit, but Castillo really dogged that ball and just barely got it.
Again, the Padres came up empty. It was a long night, figuratively, for San Diego, and a long night, literally, for everybody. It took 2 hours and 15 minutes just to play the first 5 innings. In the 7th, Bill Shearer replaced the tiring Milt Wilcox for the Tigers and had some problems.
Off his glove, and that's going to take Whitaker out of the play. Yes, and aboard is Gwynn with a base hit.
Steve Garvey, just 1 for 10 in the series at this point, is next.
Lines it to left. Herndon coming over, and it's off his glove. Gwynn is going to keep on going to third, and he's in there. Into second goes Garvey, and the Padres are in business. Goes second and third, and 1 out. Nettles and Kennedy, both left-handers, coming up against Shearer. High fly ball that's deep enough to get Gwynn home. Tagging up is Garvey. Lemon for the catch, and they're both trying to move over, and Garvey just made it. Why he didn't slide, I'll never know. Well, that's cutting it close.
Very close. Down was Virgil, and Castillo had his hand on his hip like he said, well, no play.
Well, there's a play for Willie Hernandez, all right. He comes in with a runner at third and 2 out. 5-2 in favor of Detroit.
Hernandez faces Terry Kennedy, who had hit Willie well when the pitcher was in the National League.
A drive to center. Lemon was shallow. It's over his head, and it's behind him, and he caught it anyway.
Later, tongue and tobacco in cheek, Sparky would describe Lemon's catch as routine. Finally, 2 outs in the 9th, and Garvey represents the Padres' last hope.
And they're on their feet here at Tiger Stadium. Little fly ball, and Lemon is hesitating. He's there. That's it.
So Willie Hernandez nails down the victory for Milt Wilcox. The final, the Tigers 5, the Padres 2. If you've been with us through any of the first 3 games, you've seen our look back at the first World Series played in 1903. Now here's a kaleidoscopic view of some of what's happened since then. All right, I don't know about you, but I blinked and missed the 1940s. Now back to the present. Game 4 of the series. Tigers in front 2-1. And Tiger Stadium is rocking with enthusiasm as Detroit sends its ace right-hander Jack Morris to the mound. Morris went the distance to beat the Padres in the opener, and he got right down to business in Game 4. He picked up 2 quick outs and then faced Steve Garvey.
2 down. Bases empty. First inning, just the start of the ball game. Chopper over the mound. Whitaker backhands at the bag. Gets him.
So Morris retired the Padres 1-2-3. Lou Whitaker led off for the Tigers in the bottom half, and he had begun the scoring in each of the first 3 games of the series. Padres pitcher Eric Show was 15-9 during the regular season, but hit hard by the Cubs in the playoffs, and his troubles continue.
And there's a ground ball to Wiggins. Off-balance throw, pulls Garvey off the bag. So Whitaker aboard on a break, and Alan Trammell the batter. High drive into deep left field. Back goes Martinez, away back. It's gone. Again, the Tigers take a bite out of you in the first inning.
That was it for the Tigers in the first, but Dick Williams must have been wondering what you have to do to stop the Tigers early. In the second, the Padres' Terry Kennedy stepped up against Morris.
0-1 to count to Kennedy. A drive to right field, and Gibson just turns and watches it go upstairs. So Kennedy and the Padres, as they have done throughout the series, they come back. Morris had allowed 20 home runs this year, and 14 of them here at Tiger Stadium. And it is 2-1 Detroit.
It looked like a low breaking ball that Kennedy was able to hit in the upper deck. And look at that bench. They need somebody to pick him up.
Neither team scored in its next at-bat, and it was the Tigers' turn again in the bottom of the third.
We're in the third inning with one out. Breaking ball, line to right, base hit. And Gwynn slips, and Whitaker on his way to second. He will make it. And the batter, Trammell, and of course Allen hit one out. Allen's having a big series. Breaking ball, hit to deep left field. Back goes Martinez. Goodbye. Take a curtain call. Here he comes.
Meanwhile, Morris had allowed the Padres only 3 hits through 5 innings of work. In the last half of the fifth, Whitaker again led off for the Tigers.
And on deck, Alan Trammell, as Whitaker is aboard for the 3rd time, and he's going for 2.
So, as he did throughout the series and, in fact, throughout the season, Whitaker sets the stage for Trammell, who homered in each of his first 2 appearances against starter Eric Show. This time, Allen faces left-handed reliever Dave Dravecky.
Line into left for only a single. And here comes Whitaker, and then he holds up, and Martinez throws it in. A very cautious Grammas, and Whitaker, with nobody out in the inning, deciding not to draw a throw from Martinez.
So now there were 2 men on, and it was up to Kirk Gibson to bring them in.
He doesn't go, and down goes Gibson. And I guess the thinking was, he's so tough to double up because of his speed. Why gamble? Boy, he's hot.
But you got to figure the way they've been running, thinking of Kennedy throwing back there, that you'd stay away from it. But, hey, all kinds of little wars going on.
So a thoroughly frustrated and angry Kirk Gibson goes snarling back into the dugout.
And the next batter is Lance Parrish.
2-1 to Lance Parrish. Busted bat and a one-hopper, and they can go to the plate, and Kennedy tags out a sliding Whitaker, who got it up around the jaw.
Watch this now. Watch the bat. Look at the ball coming and the bat. He doesn't know what to do. He's ducking both. You don't think that's distracting? And Whitaker looking back to see what's happening, and he's an easy out.
And as for Morris, well, he just kept rolling along. 7th inning, the batter, Bavacqua.
0-2. And another one to get him looking. He sent up a balloon to strike him out. 13 in a row, retired by Jack Morris. And at the end of 6 1/2, the Tigers have the Padres by the neck, 4-1.
It's the 9th, and as the Padres contemplate the prospect of going down 3-1, confident Tiger fans begin their celebration.
It might be a little premature for the series, but it certainly would appear to be appropriate at this stage with 1 out in the 9th inning. Hit to left and hooking, and that will go for the base hit, banging off the fence. Garvey's going to go for 2. Herndon's throw to Whitaker. He is in there.
Garvey moves to 3rd on an infield out, and now with 2 down, Morris has to get Kennedy to finish the game.
The Tigers are 1 out away from going 3-1, and they're up. And here comes Garvey to score.
He simply overthrew that one. He was going for the strikeout, and he overthrew it. It cost him a run.
Tigers 4, Padres 2. Line to right at Gibson.
The Tigers win it 4-2. The Heroes are Trammell with his 2 home runs, and Morris with his 2nd complete game of the series. Now Game 5, with the Tigers looking to finish it up in front of their home fans. Detroit puts its faith in Dan Petrie, the loser of Game 2 at San Diego. In the Tiger dugout, a loose atmosphere prevails as even manager Sparky Anderson joins in the clowning. Over on the other side, Dick Williams fails to see the humor. Alan Wiggins leads it off.
1-1. And line drive right on by Petrie and through into center field.
That is Wiggins' style, is to hit it right back up the middle. And I think, Vin, you can almost, as we watch the replay of him, just serving it right back up the middle. He doesn't swing hard. Petrie just a little bit late with his glove. I think it's almost like the first game. Wiggins is going to send that message that I'm going to steal to get our ball club going, and they do need somebody to light that fire.
As Wiggins eyes Petrie, the count runs to 1-2 on Tony Gwynn.
He goes, and it's chased and missed. The throw hits the runner, goes into center field, juggled by center fielder Lemon, and Wiggins is to 3rd. Now Steve Garvey is asked to do what the Padres have been unable to do, get a lead. The infield halfway, and he hits it sharply to Whitaker. Wiggins to the plate. He is out at the plate.
He never tagged it. He never tagged the plate. Watch it. Parrish has got it blocked. He slides past the plate. He never tagged the plate. He never tagged him. And Parrish knew it, so he went back again.
Dick Williams argued, but just a little and very civilly. The Padres failed to score in the inning, and so San Diego starter Mark Thurman took the mound in the bottom of the 1st to face, who else? Lou Whitaker.
Line to right field, and here we go again.
Alan Trammell forced Whitaker at 2nd, bringing up Kirk Gibson.
And there it goes for Michigan State and all of Tigerdom.
And the rally continued. Lance Parrish and Larry Herndon singled, putting runners at 1st and 3rd with Chet Lemon up.
base hit. Thurman is just about done. Parrish scores 3-0 Detroit. Here comes Dick Williams.
And Williams called on reliever Andy Hawkins. He closed the door on the Tigers, but the pattern of an early Detroit lead had continued. In the third, however, the Padres showed signs of life.
And the at-bats for Bobby Brown have become a litany of frustration. He is 0 for 13 as he chops it behind the bag to Trammell and beats it out.
Steve Garvey came to bat. 2 groundouts by Wiggins and Gwynn had moved Brown over to third, and Garvey had a chance to put the Padres on the scoreboard.
And he slashes one to the hole, knocked down, and that's all, and the run is in. They give Garvey a couple of opportunities, you know he's going to pick somebody up. It's a base hit, an RBI, and it's Tigers 3, Padres 1.
No more scoring in the third, but in the fourth inning, the Padres tried to get something started again. Kurt Bavacqua walked, and with 1 out, it was Gary Templeton up.
Bavacqua at first, Evans back up. Lined into left center, sinking, and that's in there for a base hit. Since he's gone away, he falls down. That allows Templeton to get to second, and stopping at third is Bavacqua. Herndon was going away from his play. He tried to twist his upper torso to get the ball back to the infield, and he fell down while trying to do it. So now you have Bobby Brown on the spot again. It was Bobby's hustle for a base hit that gave the Padres a run in the third. He has a chance to tie it up with a base hit now. Fastball, and that's hit to left center. Lemon on the run, flags it. Tagging is Bavacqua to score, holding is Templeton. So Brown just hit in tough luck. He drilled that ball. So now Alan Wiggins trying to pick up his buddy Gary Templeton and get the Padres even. Fastball, hit into left center. Lemon was shallow. Here comes Templeton. Lemon's throw cut off by Evans. He goes to Trammell. It gets away, and it's finally retrieved by Lemon. Whitaker tried to glove it and couldn't, and the Padres have tied it up.
So finally, the San Diego fans had something to cheer about. The game remained tied until the fifth. Andy Hawkins, the pitcher. Kirk Gibson, the hitter.
Fastball off the glove of Nettles. Deflected into shallow left. Run down by Templeton, and holding is Gibson with a base hit.
Hawkins tried to keep the speedy Gibson close to first as he worked to Lance Parrish.
High drive into left field. Martinez on the grass, on the track, makes the catch. Gibson tags, going to second. He's in there.
Hawkins then walked Larry Herndon, and Williams brought in left-hander Craig Lefferts to pitch to Chet Lemon. But Lefferts then proceeded to walk Lemon. And so Sparky Anderson went to his bench, sending up Rusty Kuntz to pinch hit for DH Johnny Grubb. Kuntz went after the first pitch.
High pop fly. Out goes Wiggins. Makes the catch, and coming to the plate and scoring is Gibson. I can't believe that Wiggins caught that ball.
I don't know why Gwynn didn't run him off the play. Gwynn is coming into the play.
He had an easy play if he comes in and catches it. Unless he lost the ball. Wiggins was going away from home. Gwynn was coming into the play.
Now watch Gwynn. There you see how close they are.
You know what? He lost it. I'll tell you why he did. When the ball was halfway to right field, he stuck his hands out. It was as if, I don't know where it is. I really feel that Tony Gwynn lost the ball after I saw his gesture.
Moving ahead to the bottom of the sixth, and Gary Templeton makes one of the series' fine defensive plays on a ball hit by Trammell.
Line drive off the glove of Nettles. He should have caught it. The throw to Garvey got him anyway. Another great throw by Gary Templeton. Nettles has it, and it spins away, and there's Johnny on the spot.
Now to the bottom half of the seventh. Goose Gossage replaces Lefferts. Gossage had pitched only 1 inning up to that point in the series. He was brought in to face right-handed hitting Lance Parrish.
And he lines it to left. Back goes Martinez. Gone.
So now it's 5-3 Detroit. Before Gossage came in, Craig Lefferts had been throwing very well. Does Dick Williams regret calling on the goose? We go to the top half of the 8th inning, and it's time for Sparky Anderson to call on his ace, Willie Hernandez. Kurt Bavacqua steps in against him.
Fastball and a high drive into left field. Herndon looking up, and this one gone. So after we show you his specialty screwball, he throws Bavacqua a fastball. We got a game again. Tigers 5, Padres 4.
And when you hit him that hard, you're looking for it. And Bavacqua is a smart hitter. He figured he'd get ahead of me because the other two guys didn't stay up there too long. I'll look for the fastball and pop it, and he did, and they're back in the game.
Now in the Tiger half of the 8th, a walk, a fielder's choice, and a sacrifice put runners at second and third with one out. Kirk Gibson is the batter. And it seems like percentages indicate that Dick Williams should call for an intentional walk. That would load the bases and set up the possibility of a double play. But as Williams visits the mound, it's obvious that Gossage wants to pitch to Gibson. And he convinces Williams that he can get Kirk.
You know what's interesting? Kirk Gibson made his major league debut, his very first at-bat in the big leagues, against Goose Gossage. That's a great way to break in. And Gossage struck him out on 3 pitches.
Blew him away, Sparky says.
And maybe because of that, Gossage is saying, I can get him. Well, we'll see. And there it goes! The series of the year.
Now all that remained were the formalities. The Tigers are poised to celebrate as Tony Gwynn bats with 2 outs in the top of the 9th. Larry Herndon clutches Gwynn's drive, and the Detroit Tigers become the 1984 World Champions. They win the 5th game 8-4 and take the World Series convincingly over the Padres 4-1.
It is baseball's answer to New Year's Eve in Times Square. This one, vintage 1984. Tiger Stadium in Detroit, home of the world champion Detroit Tigers. And with that, let's go to the champions' locker room and to Bob Costas.
Let's turn now to Sparky Anderson. 104 victories in the regular season, Sparky. You add on the postseason, you lost only 1. The composite is 111-59.
Bobby, I don't care about none of that. The only thing I care is the public could see, to me, one of the most class teams and people that I've ever been around. The young man that won the most valuable player, I say it, I don't care what nobody said. He's the best player in baseball. We fell that way. That's what we're going to say. He deserves everything. And when Alan speaks, he speaks for this team. I'll see you later.
Sparky will be back. I think there's a phone call waiting for him eventually. We'll turn to Alan Trammell. 9 for 20, including a couple of homers, the MVP.
Well, thank you, Bob. I'll tell you what, I wish we could divide it up between all of us. I know that Jack was very deserving, Kirk Gibson. It's just one of these things that everybody's been contributing for our ball club. I just happen to have a good series, but it's divided among all of us, that's for sure.
Alan, yesterday's ball game, that had to be the thrill of a lifetime. The 2 2-run homers, the 4 RBIs.
There's no question, but this is even special right here. This is what it's all about. We're going to get that ring. This is the most important day of my life. I'm going to celebrate.
In the rain at Tiger Stadium, one of the brightest moments in Tiger history as they defeat the Padres 8-4 and become the world champions of 1984. For Joe Garagiola, this has been Scully. wishing you a very pleasant good evening. Come to think of it, have a great year.